Hello and welcome to the next episode of my Runescape Chronicle series. As you can see, there's been a new update, so we're going to try something a little bit different this time. Instead of doing gameplay, we're going to go through all of the new cards that were added and all of the cards that were changed. There have been quite a few changes. As you can see, you're greeted with a little message here. It's quite nice. It lets you know that there's been a patch, and you can click here. It takes you to the patch notes. Let's jump in. Ooh, congratulations, you've completed a ranked stage. Cool, I get to be silver now. Well, that's an extra bonus. Not sure why I suddenly was allowed to be silver. So the first thing we should probably check out is when you complete the tutorial, you're awarded a pack. So that means I should have a pack. I was told I would have a pack. Oh, here we go, Wonder Open. First we'll start off and open the pack and see if we maybe can get some of the new cards. There's 6 new cards and a whole heap of balance changes to existing cards. Green Dragon, it's an 8/5, both legends lose all armor, that's an existing card. Sergeant Slimestone. It's a 2/6. It gives you 2 armor and a 3/2 weapon. Sorry, I was slipping into Hearthstone or something there. Chaos Dwarf. It's 4/4. Rival loses 1 weapon attack, but you gain 3 armor and a 2/2 weapon. That seems quite decent. Chaotic Rapier. Gain a 1/2 weapon that gains attack equal to half of rival's armor. Seems extremely good against a raptor. And finally, we have the Ogre Chieftain. Rival takes damage equal to their total attack plus 4. You gain 2 gold, and it is a 5/10. I don't believe any of these cards were changed. So let's jump into the... Oh, I suppose before we jump into the cards, the other thing I should mention is that there are new rewards. Well, not new rewards, but once you've completed your daily allotment of gold and silver chests, you still have a chance to get gold and silver chests for a win instead of a bronze chest. That's quite good. That means there's no longer going to be situations where you finish up and for the day and all you're going to get is bronze chests, and so you just don't want to play anymore because the rewards aren't worth it. The first card I want to check out, I believe is one I should have. Yes, the Banshee. This is a card you unlock for getting level 6 with Ariane. It's new. The Banshee is a 4/4, and it gives you 1 gold, and all your enemies in play lose 1 attack and 1 health. That's quite good if you want to be playing big enemies, or perhaps you want to play a small enemy and just kill it outright with this, or quite good in a number of situations, and that applies to all enemies. It's not just like the Infernal Mage, which is not actually what I thought it was. Which one is what I'm thinking of? Anyway, I don't know, doesn't matter. It's not like many of the cards in the game that your next enemy loses 3 attack or your next enemy loses 3 health. It's all of your enemies for the rest of the page. So you probably want to play that first and get a couple of good cards out of it. The next card we'll look at that's brand new is also, I believe, an Ariane card. It is called Aileron, and it is a monster. So let's jump into crafting mode and see if we can find it. Here we go, Aileron. It's a 5/3. All enemies in play gain 1 health. So that's interesting. Again, it affects all enemies, but unlike the last card that affects all of your enemies, this also affects your opponent's enemies. So potentially, if you are planning for this card yourself, you have no disadvantage by playing this card, and your opponent is potentially going to take a lot of damage, because a lot of the time you sort of calculate and you'll play a big enemy that you have sort of the exact damage to kill, or you'll have the exact damage to kill it in 2 hits, so that it'll only hit you once. But with this, it's going to hit you once, it's going to hit you twice, it's going to hit you maybe 3 times. And that's going to be pretty nasty. Of course, always the option to play around it, but who wants to have 1 extra attack when you don't need it? Maybe you do. The next card we'll look for is called Lord Ivan. It's also a mage card for Ariane. See if we can find that one. Here it is, I see it. It's 5/10, so quite hard to kill, and it's going to hurt you considerably. The attack and health of all enemies in play are swapped. So that's a very interesting card. I think you could do a lot of damage with this. It's probably harder to screw up your rival with this, because what if they play a 4/3, then it's just a 3/4, it doesn't really matter. And a lot of the times creatures will have a lower health than their attack, which means you're actually reducing the attack, but also increasing the health, so perhaps you're hitting them twice for 4 instead of once for 3, or once for 5. But using this to switch your own cards is, I feel like you could do a lot with that. Like this guy becomes an 8-10, he's much easier to kill, for example. But 8-13, 6-16, that makes the Chaos Elemental incredibly easy to kill. The Chaos Elemental being rival loses weapon and all armor. Yeah, I feel like if you built a deck with that card in mind, you could do a lot of damage with it. Alright, next we're looking for an equipment card, which is, I believe, a neutral. It is the Silverlight Sword. Let's see if we can find it. We'll have a look. Costs, how much does it cost? It costs 3 gold. I believe these are sorted by gold cost order. I have the patch notes open here on another page so that I can know what I'm looking for. We go Silverlight. It costs 3 gold, and all of your demons in play lose 2 health. That's quite powerful, obviously, especially in a demon deck. Something that demon deck might find they need, because there were some nerfs to demon decks that we'll get to in a moment. I haven't had a chance to play my demon deck yet, but I, having looked at the patch notes, think it would be considerably worse, and I'm wondering about whether I might want to retire that deck from ranked play, or perhaps just make some changes to it. Perhaps I'll add this in there. Could be beneficial. Yeah. Obviously, you probably don't want to play it if you're not playing a demon deck, because it's not going to do anything for you, and it is all demons, which means that it will make your opponent's demons lose 2 health if they happen to also be playing demons. So we want to keep that one in mind. Okay, next we're looking for Lumpnose. It's a 2/5 fight card, which is general. Where is he? Looking. He is, while I'm looking. How are these sorted, by the way? That's something I'm not sure about. Is it sorted by health or by attack value? I think it's sorted by health, which means we should be right about there. Looking at 2/5, here he is, right at the start of the page. Lumpnose is a 2/5, he is an emerald, which means he is rarer than the cards we've already looked at so far. Is that true? I'm not sure what Silverlight was, but I know the mage cards were more common anyway. All of your goblins in play lose 2 health, okay. That's very similar effect to Silverlight that we just looked at. Again, it does also affect your opponent's goblins, and goblins, I believe, are somewhat more common than demons. You throw them in any deck because they're sort of, yeah, okay. They're sort of filler cards that you put in when you don't have anything else to put in there, which is something that's happening a lot right now because the size of people's collections is not that big. So, yeah, I mean, if you want to build a goblin tribal deck, I'm not sure how powerful that would be. I'm not even sure what type of deck that would be, what the win condition would be, but probably something you want to consider throwing in there. Stinkers is draw 2 goblins. Okay, so looks like goblins are sort of the typical goblin thing that you would always expect from a card game if you've been a fan of Magic. Goblins appear to be draw goblins, play goblins, and overrun your enemy with goblins. So if that's something you sounds like you'd be into, then by all means, perhaps that's a card you want to look into picking up. Next, we're looking for Keras, which is a 3 gold support card. We'll skip ahead to the 3 gold. Here it is. It's 3 gold, and you gain a 1/3 weapon, and all Kelphites in play lose 3 health. This is actually substantially better than Silverlight, because this only affects your Kelphites. And they lose 3 health instead of 2, and you get a 1/3 weapon. So that's kind of value all around. It's much, much better than Silverlight, though. Having said that, the Kelphite deck is also not as good as the Demon deck. That's probably why this is much stronger. Will this make the Kelphite deck see play? I don't think so. Not by itself. But I think if the Kelphite deck does come into prominence, I think this should probably see play in it. Kelphite decks tend to typically be revolving around destroying your opponent's armor, which is great if your opponent has armor, but they're kind of useless if your opponent doesn't, and there's no guarantee that that's going to happen. So in maybe half of your matchups, it's just useless effects that they have. And that's all of the new cards that were added, so let's jump into the balance changes. First off is a favourite card, which I actually own and have played before, Earthwave. Rival now loses health equal to your hand size plus 4. This used to be rival loses health equal to double your hand size, and it, I believe, also cost more. No, the cost is the same. I'm thinking of a different card. So you're paying the same amount and you're dealing a maximum of 14 damage, where previously it was a maximum of 20 damage, and you're still discarding all your cards. I'm going to be honest, I think this card is pretty bad now. I mean, 14 damage is quite a bit, but it's not going to kill your opponent out of nowhere, which is what the strength of this card was. And it still does hit through armor, but if you're playing a raptor that's building their armor early, then it doesn't matter. You play 2 of these and they're still alive. Perhaps your hand size +5, then if you manage to get 2 of them, then you've killed your enemy. But even then, it'd be incredibly difficult because you're also discarding all of your cards. So you play it once, and then you have to draw back up to 10 cards and play it again. I think this is quite a strong nerf, and I think this will see play in a lot less decks than it had previously. Previously, this was admittedly broken. Okay, the next card that was changed was the Troll Shaman, which is an 8/5. I believe it is a neutral card. Let's see if we can find that. Sorry, I got into equipment again. I believe we figured out that they're sorted by health. So we're looking for the Troll Shaman. Where is he? Gone too far. Just search. I should be using the search. This is something I should have figured out a while ago. Okay, Troll Shaman's not turning up. Is he actually not? Now, I'm just looking at the patch notes because they tell you what class these cards are. Or maybe they don't. Let's see. I can't find the Troll Shaman. Maybe I already own a Troll Shaman. Troll Chucker. Troll General. I can't find the Troll Shaman. Not if that's a bug or if I'm just doing something wrong. It's definitely okay. Well, I'll just read it out to you from the patch notes, and we can have a look at the Troll Chucker instead, which has not been nerfed. It's still a solid card. The Troll Shaman is 8 attack and 5 health. This is what it used to be, an 8 attack and 5 health. Gives you 2 gold and 4 armor, and your next spell is free. So that's your next support card. I believe spells are classified individually, separate from support cards. So I can get rid of this search here and check that. Anything look like it should be a spell? Ariane has spells. Yeah, okay, so spell has this little disclaimer here that this is a spell. Alchemy is a spell. Probably don't want to be casting Alchemy for free, given it's already free, but you could cast Earthwave and do 14 damage for free, for example. So that's what it used to be. It's now an 8/6, so it's gained 1 more health, and you no longer gain 2 gold. The rest is the same. You still gain 4 armor, and your next spell is still free. Okay, so they've made it considerably harder to kill. I suppose that's a fair balancing patch, because what they've done is they've taken away the 2 gold, which is fair enough, because this card is already benefiting you greatly, honestly, in terms of money. If you're getting your next spell for free, you can play literally any spell. You can play Earth Blast, which is 8, you can play this for 5. Any spell in the game you can play for free, so 2 extra gold on top of that is effectively already giving you 8 or 5 gold, depending on how you use it. 2 extra gold on top of that, this probably is a bit strong. Okay, next we'll jump back into crafting mode, because we're looking for Bob the Cat, which I know I do not have. Bob the Cat previously was a 1 cost gold card. It's still a 1 gold card, so we should be able to find it. Sorry, am I running crafting? But they've changed the interface a little bit here. Why am I seeing all these cards I already own, and not the cards I don't own? Have I broken the interface? That is entirely possible. Okay, let's jump back out and jump back in and see what's going on here. We want to look at crafting. Okay, that's better. These are the cards I don't already own. Okay, so looking for Bob the Cat, which costs 1, and I believe it's an Emerald rarity card. Has been nerfed slightly. I can find it here. How much does it cost? New, costs 1 gold. Where is he? Hiding. It costs 1 gold. There's only 2 cards that cost 1 gold here. I'm fairly certain I haven't opened a Bob the Cat yet. Like, it might be gone missing. Go back into crafting mode and I'll try searching for it. Remember, I can do that. Bob a Lindsay card? I don't think he's a Lindsay card. Oh, Bob's an Ozan card. Okay, I didn't know that. I thought Bob was a neutral card. Okay, Bob the Cat. Previously, Bob the Cat cost 1 gold, which he still does. And he would steal 4 gold, which is now only 3. And also, you would receive a strike from your rival. Now, it is take damage equal to your rival's attack. Okay. So obviously, the obvious change here is that they've reduced the amount of gold it steals. The less obvious nerf is that they've changed it from strike rival to take damage, strike from rival, to take damage equal to your rival's attack. Which sounds like it's the same thing, but what this means is that if your rival has a weapon, you're not taking your durability off that weapon, you're just taking the damage. I believe that was an unintended effect that some people are taking advantage of, is you can play this card to break your opponent's weapon a little bit faster. That is no longer the case. You will still be hit in the face, and you will not be disadvantaging your rival other than stealing 3 gold from them, down to 4 from 4 gold. Of course, that's still devastating, stealing gold, because if you say Earth Blast again, perhaps I'm an Ariane and my opponent's just played Bob the Cat, and now I can't afford my Earth Blast, which means I've just wasted that card. And probably not played anything else this turn, because you want your hand size to be big for that card. So that's a sizable nerf, but I still think it's a solid card. I still think that'll probably see play. Next, as we mentioned, the Revenant Demon got nerfed. There's a couple of demons that have been nerfed. The Revenant Demon, let's search for that. Hopefully that's specific enough, and it's a monster. Here it is. The Revenant Demon is a 4/4, and you gain 1 temporary attack, and you battle your rival. Previously, it was a 4/4, gain 1 temporary attack, strike your rival. So the reason this is worse, obviously, is because now you are taking damage from your rival as well. So it's no longer a one-sided thing that I killed this demon and I'm going to punch you. Now I'm going to punch you, and then you're going to punch me. So it makes it a bit harder to stay alive playing the demon deck, which is honestly already a problem that the demon deck had. I would say that was its biggest weakness, is that it typically is a deck where you take a lot of damage playing it, and now you're going to take a bit more. And that makes me worry about whether this deck is still going to be viable. I'll have to play a few rounds with it later on and see what the case is. Next we have the Dust Devil, which was nerfed. I'm not sure if the Dust Devil actually counts as a demon or not. I think it does. Dust Devil is a Lindsay card. Okay, Dust Devil is not a demon. It is a 2/5, and you gain 1 gold, and you spend your weapon to make your rival lose 1 attack. That's actually a nerf I'm happy to see, because I hated seeing this card. You play it on turn 1 and you take, what, 3 damage? 4 damage? You don't care, because your rival is going to take a ton of damage. Because that 2 attack minion they put down thinking they could kill it, they can't. They're going to take damage from it. And then 3 attack minion they thought they were going to kill, they're not going to kill any of their minions. This card is devastating. And spend your weapon, it's still basically the same effect except for spend your weapon, and that basically means you can't play it as the very first opening card of the game. And it's still as powerful as it would have been late game. So I think that's a fair card. It's gone from being a card that is super frustrating to a card that's, yeah, it's still annoying, but it's fair, so I'm happy to see that. Next on the list of cards that have received balance changes is the Black Demon. Another card that does go in the demon deck. He's here. He's formerly was a 9/5. He's now a 9/6, so he's gained 1 health. Used to be rival takes 4 damage, strike rival. Now it's both legends take 4 damage, strike rival. So potentially not quite as bad as the nerf to Revenant Demon, as you're only taking 4 damage and you still get to punch them for all of your damage. Although he also has gained more attack, which means you're more likely going to be taking that 9 damage from him. Which is unfortunate. What do you want? If you have 4 attack, you want 5 attack and then 5? If you have 5 attack, you're taking 9 damage with this and 4 damages and 13 attack. Yeah, so basically you're worst off if you don't kill this in 1 hit. If you're not killing this in 1 hit, you're taking more damage than your opponent is. That's a pretty severe nerf, but if you have more attack, if you have 6 attack or more, then it's fine. You can still get away with it. Next is a card I'm sure a lot of people will be happy to see nerfed. Deadshot. It's still quite powerful though, and I think it will still likely see play in a lot of Ozan decks. Why can't it... Yeah, I see what I've done wrong. Buried. Ozan? What are you doing to me, Ozan? Try that again. Oh right, I see why you won't find it. It doesn't find cards in crafting mode that can't be crafted. This is a default card that's given you for leveling up, so it can't be found in crafting, of course. So this card is basically the exact same as it used to be, except your rival now takes 7 damage, it used to be 10. So things to note about this change is that obviously, initially, it seems much worse. There is a small upside though, which is if you're playing 2 of these, you can potentially cast both of them. Previously, if you had 2 of them in your deck and you played one of them, the second became a dead card because your rival did not have more than 20 health. Now you can potentially play both of them to deal 14 damage, which is... and that's not nothing, but at the same time, it's unlikely that your opponent isn't taking damage from anything else in the meantime. I mean, maybe you play that card... what's his name? Eli Morrison into Deadshot, into Eli Morrison into Deadshot on your first turn and do 14 damage. And that's fine if you can do it, but it's unlikely at best, let's put it that way. And even if you do happen to get that draw, it's not impossible that they would draw cards from something else. Okay, let's read the rest of the patch notes. Our first round of promotions has gone out. That's what we saw at the start of the video. When I was up promoted to Silver, I was under the impression that that actually happened last week. Obviously that's not the case. I'm not sure what I read happened last week. Though that said, I was also under the impression this patch would come out last week, which is why last week's video was prepared on such short notice. I was waiting for the patch. Practice mode. Progress in this mode has been reset, so we can bring you a whole host of rewards. Okay, let's jump out and have a look at that and see if we can see what the rewards are. Any deck. Okay, so looks like each time I beat a hero in this mode, I gain a gold chest. And then if I beat all 4 heroes in this mode, I get a card back. Okay. And then you can progress down to silver and gold. Okay, I might have a look at that in a future video. Deck manager, guidance decks has been implemented. These decks are designed... okay, so I remember reading about that. That means that basically the decks that were given by default at the start of the game are now accessible in the deck manager, so you can edit those for the start of your deck. And the rest of it is miscellaneous and bug fixes. I suppose another big change that I should mention that's especially useful for me when I'm recording is that the menu settings are now in-game. So you can change your graphic settings, make it full screen windowed, 1080p, 720p, whatever you're running at. I'm recording at 720p so that I can have my patch notes up on the same monitor and running next to the game. My second monitor is out of commission at the moment. You play the game on multiple monitors if you want to. Switch to monitor 2. That's a new option. Lowest, low, medium, high. I believe those still don't do anything. I don't think they've said otherwise. They've got sound effects volume. Enable legend voices. Coming soon. I was under the impression legend already have voices, so I'm not sure. Oh, that's the ability to turn them off. I see. The credits button coming soon, and soon you can even report bugs. As you can do that already if you've heard over the forums. If you do find a bug, please do report it and make the game better for everyone. And I think I'll end the video there. I was thinking maybe recording a game afterwards, but I think that went on for quite a while. Probably about as long as a regular video, I'd say. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and stay tuned. If you would like to watch more, you can watch it over on Twitch TV, where I've been trying to stream more regularly. I'm getting a bit better at that. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.